show do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Radio Hotties. The content broadcast on this show is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only.
जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। ऑनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या ऑनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। ऑनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195. After months of screen time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's Good Morning
Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदी,
सलाम अलैकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
मीक अंदरिकी वंदनमु,
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्णा,
जय जनेंद्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे या अली मदद,
मौला अली मदद बोलते हैं सारे फीजी बंदर बोल के नीसा बोला बनजन। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैं से फालतू बाबा,
and of course myself Faltu Rani लेकर आपके लिए और drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बंदजानी।
That's right, Bajan. Let's go take a quick look at what's happening on the road. रास्ते का हाल जो हम लोग आपको देते हैं टोटल सस्ते में।
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's right, Bajan. This update we give you right now what's happening in the Bay Area. If at all you're somewhere around the world, globally, if you're looking at traffic updates over there, send us a message. Or why you yourself can come and tell us also, Bajan, what's happening over there. A quick look at the Bay Area traffic. Let's start with Milpitas, Bajan, because there's actually a report of a hazard on 880 north, southbound, north of 237 in Milpitas, which is slowing down traffic in the junction of 237 and 880, Bajan. Very close by to that particular accident or incident, there actually is a hazard report on 880 southbound north of Dixon Landing in Milpitas. The right lane is affected over there. Now, I don't see much of an impact on traffic over there, but I see some really sluggish traffic on the north of 880 towards Oakland, actually. There is, I think it is... there's no incident report, but again, near the bridge, getting into the 80 part of it is like huge backlog over there. Watch out for that. Otherwise, the Bay Area traffic is looking smooth. People are commuting without any kind of incidents as of now. That's good. And if anything comes up, we are definitely here to share that with you guys. Again, weather very similar to what's happened yesterday. We're going to be somewhere in the upper 80s. It's going to be a hot day, of course, yes, but no clouds in sight. And of course, the weekend is going to be nice, bright, and nice. Weather not too hot, not too cold.
Right.
Because Saturday is going to be pretty much the same, 87, 88 kind of a
What?
thing. Yeah.
It's going to be so hot on Saturday?
Yeah, but it's like, it's okay. 87, 80, hello, 87, 85 is a good time. It's a good weather for us.
Ugh.
We hit 90s first, right? Mid-90s.
70s, 80s is fine.
Yeah, you deserve to be in San Francisco, I suppose.
Yeah.
San Francisco side is on the same temperature, 70s and 80s maximum. Yeah, you want to move there? Falguni?
Okay, yes, I
You
don't
can.
mind.
You can, Falguni, because right now we're not restricted by the towers, right? We're available everywhere, anywhere, Baljan. Yes, how do you go about doing that? Very simple. Go and download the app called Radio Hotties, available free download on iOS and also on the Android platform. And right now, but just time for us to go and take a look at what's happening with the news. If you want to actually catch up the headlines quickly, if you don't have time, you're gulping down your breakfast and jumping into your car, you can check out the scrolly down there where we have real estate over there where you actually can check out the headlines of what's happening in and around the world, Barujan. But right now, let's quickly take a look at the news, Fatwani. What do you think?
Yes, Arth Baba. Did you discuss the crash that happened in the South Bay, the Highway 101 southbound crash? in
No,
your
I did
traffic
not.
update?
You can share that, Fatwani.
Well, there's been a major crash actually, Manjan, that shut down southbound Highway 101. I'm trying to find that news item that just came. I was just reading up on it. Ugh. Okay, yeah, a fatal crash has blocked traffic on Highway 101 southbound Manjan in San Jose, and the latest is basically that early Wednesday morning. Southbound Highway 101 had closed 4 of the 5 lanes of traffic just south of the McKee Road on-ramp. California Highway Patrol responded to a 3:31 a.m. report of a fatal collision. Upon arrival, the officers found 3 lanes blocked by the collision. As of 4:02 a.m., only one southbound lane was open. No estimate has been given with regard to when these lanes are going to be reopened, and no additional information is available about this particular collision or who the victims were.
Well, of course, Manjan, right now it's good to know that it actually has opened up, and this news was almost 6 hours. We give you a traffic update, which is pretty much immediate for you guys.
Yeah.
But that actually was newsworthy for you guys to understand. I hope that people actually involved in that are safe.
Have all the lanes opened up?
Yes, all the lanes are opened up. There's no congestion right now on the road, so you can actually go on 101 all the way south if you want it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the California wildfire since we are in wildfire season. Manajan, California's single largest wildfire in recorded history continued to grow, surpassing 500,000 acres while destroying nearly 550 homes and forcing evacuation orders and warnings in 4 counties, according to CAL FIRE. The dangerous fire is among 100 large blazes burning Wednesday across 15 states, mostly in the west, where historic drought conditions have left lands parched and ripe for ignition. The east end of the Northern California's Dixie fire, which is a massive California fire, flared up Tuesday as afternoon winds increased, fire officials said, burning through bone-dry trees, brush and grass. The fire has destroyed at least 1,027 buildings. More than half of them are homes in the northern Sierra Nevada. Newly released satellite imagery showed the scale of the destruction in the small community of Greenville that was incinerated last week due to an explosive run of flames. And like Altu mentioned, the dry conditions and the excessive heat this week are just going to make matters worse. As tens of thousands of students are returning to school this week in the Bay Area, Banajan, there is growing evidence that the Delta variant is surging and may be more dangerous for children than prior variants. Doctors at Lucille Packard Children's Hospital in Stanford are seeing a change in the number of kids who are coming in with COVID. We are certainly seeing an increase in the number of children who are hospitalized in recent weeks. Dr. Grace Lee, a pediatrics professor at Stanford University School of Medicine, said. Lee said that majority of the kids who are hospitalized with COVID have the Delta variant of the virus. They also are saying that it's far more transmissible and maybe 1,000-fold higher viral load. So they do anticipate the transmission will be greater. Across the nation, the number of kids getting COVID is also increasing. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, 16 states, including California, have now a total of more than 100,000 pediatric COVID cases.
Wow.
Yeah. While most children recover within a week, new research is showing that children who are infected are also at risk of becoming the long-haul COVID patients.
And of course, we also know that the next generation is not so very healthy also, brother. And a lot of kids who are having allergies, who have other complications with health, and which makes it really dangerous.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So, Governor Newsom, in fact, in light of all of this, Governor Gavin Newsom on Wednesday, that's today, is expected to announce a possible vaccine order for teachers and staff at all California public schools as COVID-19 cases continue to spike across the state and the nation. He's going to mandate that all California public school employees either be vaccinated against COVID-19 or submit to a regular test proving that they are not infected with the virus, according to a report from the LA Times. Newsom is scheduled to visit an elementary school in Alameda County to unveil this particular plan. He already has issued a similar mandate for employees of state agencies as well as for state medical workers with some religious and health exemptions. Some Bay Area school districts already have announced vaccine mandates for their teachers and staff, including the San Francisco and Oakland Unified School District. Several school districts resuming in person this week, including Palo Alto Unified, Pleasanton Unified, Sequoia Union, Mountain View, Milpitas Unified, and South San Francisco Unified as well. As the school year starts, with most students returning to in-person learning, concerns grow about the possibility of the highly transmissible COVID-19 Delta variant. In East Contra Costa County, as we've been reporting over the past couple of days, Madhujan, districts in Brentwood and Oakley reopened last week and saw a huge spike in cases among students and also staff. Google is unveiling privacy changes for young people. They say that they're going to make things safer online for young people. The Silicon Valley search giant said videos uploaded by 13 to 17-year-olds on YouTube, which is owned by Google, will be private by default, which means that these videos can only be seen by those who post them and those with permission to view them. Google also says anyone under 18 or their parent or guardian can request removal of that child's images from the company's image search results as well. The company will also turn off location history for anyone under 18. Google's parent company, Alphabet, also says it'll block ad targeting based on age, gender, and interests of people under 18. All of the changes, Google says, will be put into place in the next few weeks. I think we're still very early in implementing the sort of technical safeguards that would reduce cyber stalking, cyberbullying, and a whole lot of horrific things that happen on the internet. Ryan Kellember with Proofpoint SR said, that said, younger people have very different expectations of privacy. And just yesterday we talked about how there's a lot of debate that's going on with regard to the CSAM, right? The child sexual abuse images kind of thing that's being, where they have the search. So anything that you put on Google, anything you upload to iCloud, all of these, right? And any kind of photos that you share on Facebook, or you put it even in a messenger on Facebook. Apparently, Altubaba, it's going through this search whether it matches anything with regard to the CSAM. It's a massive search, and all the 10 companies are in on it. So technically, somebody is reviewing the images that you're posting up there.
It's not somebody, it's algorithm actually does the, but of course, the sad part is, there is a huge database of stuff they have already researched and found. And it's not a new thing. It's been going on for a decade and a half, I suppose, already. And I think the intent, well, yeah, people can always come back and say, oh, it's slippery slope, blah, blah, blah. But again, the intent was to control child pornography and everything, right?
Exactly.
But then again, on the device, Apple, what they're doing is different.
So
I have a my own theory on that. They should not be doing it, but
so this was happening on the cloud, right? Only if you upload it to your iCloud, or if you, which most of us do, or your Mac OS cloud, or whatever you call that, and then your Google Cloud, or any one of these. Only then was this going through that CSAM database, the matching. But then what Apple is doing is taking it a step further. They've introduced a whole bunch of iOS updates where they're saying that will happen on your local phone.
Yeah, but a smaller number of so they actually were 20 million incidents which were matched against in that particular thing. So it's a huge number. But Apple is looking at 300,000 incidents which they're going to match with.
Well, what
so
he's talking about in terms of incidents is where there's been instances of sexual abuse images, right? Where there's like a missing children's registry as well, and they found and there's also a whole bunch of sexual abuse images, and there were 20 million incidents in just 1 year. Now, what Alto is saying is that with Apple, they're saying that they intend to be able to capture more than 300,000. 300.
And that's the number of images they have which they'll match against when you actually put it on your phone. But by the way, it's not on your phone right now, but it's going to roll out in the fall. When they launch the new phones and OSs are all coming up,
right.
That's when they're going to have the update over there.
Correct.
But here's one more thing which all the parents out there can give out a sigh of relief. Have you heard of this particular trend in youngsters called sexting?
Yeah.
Oh my God, but it's going to be a new thing right now where they will not. Here's what the carriers are going to be doing. This Google and everybody else. That's the thing with the CSAM. Even for the presentation they put, right? So now going forward, anything they receive which has any content that way will mention to them saying that if you open this, you will be a notification will be sent to your parent.
Yeah.
if they are below 13 years of age. And of course, if it is between 13 and 18, I think they don't actually inform the parent, but they do notify them saying that this is adult content.
Well,
So-
they send a warning to the individual, especially because there's a lot of that, again, a lot of bullying that's going on, right? Cyberbullying. So if, and kids...
They're also vulnerable for other people, predators, right?
And there's also kids who are really, they're not known to make the best decisions. I mean, all of us make some decisions, and then, there's a lot of kids who actually take compromising photos of each other, and then they'll actually send it to each other. So to make sure that these incidents are reduced, Apple is actually introducing this update where if you have a child account, and that's what you need to set up your child account as when you get your child a phone, it'll automatically notify you. And it will also notify you if they are going into adult websites. Like if they're surfing pornography or looking at pornographic images, it'll notify the adult. Anyway, let's go on over to the rest of the United States and tell you what is going on the national front. Bandhujan, Democratic divisions are emerging on the Senate's $3.5 trillion spending plan. Hours after the Senate approved a $3.5 trillion budget blueprint chock full of investments in new domestic programs, new fissures emerged between the moderate and the liberal wings of the Democratic Party over the size and the scope of spending. U.S. Senator Joe Manchin, a moderate Democrat representing the conservative state of West Virginia, issued a warning shortly after the Senate completed a marathon session early on Wednesday and passed a budget deal that would carry out Joe Biden's top priority. Manchin, who often acts as a bridge between the party and the Republicans, voiced concerns about potentially, quote, grave consequences, unquote, for the nation's debt, as well as the country's ability to respond to other potential crises. That followed his colleague, Senator Kristen Sinema's earlier warning that she does not support the $3.5 trillion price tag, but would work in good faith to develop an alternative. This plan addresses key democratic priorities such as climate change and immigration reform, and would create new social programs such as universal preschool education and subsidized home health care for senior citizens. Progressive members of the House of Reps have warned that they won't back the bill unless it has enough funding for all those goals to be met. Texas governor's ban on mask mandates dealt second legal blow. The first legal blow was that the school districts, superintendents have said they're going against the ban on the masking. And now Texas Governor Greg Abbott's statewide ban on mask mandates has hit its second legal setback as a judge in Dallas County temporarily blocked it from being enforced and amid this nationwide rise in new coronavirus cases. This was a temporary order by Judge Tonya Parker, who issued this order late on Tuesday, allowing officials in the state's second most populous county to require masks indoors despite Abbott's July order against such mandates. Speaking of governors, let's tell you that Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul on Wednesday is going to be addressing New Yorkers for the first time since becoming governor. Andrew Cuomo's designated successor, taking a first step to moving the state past the sexual harassment scandal that has driven him out of office. Hochul had worked in Cuomo's shadow since being elected a lieutenant governor in 2014, has a long career in public service in the state. She has served 14 years on an upstate New York town board and was appointed clerk of Erie County and represented a congressional district that no Democrat had ever won for 40 years until her victory in 2011. A U.S. judge is saying that some Trump financial records now need to be handed over to the U.S. House of Reps committee. The ruling by a federal judge of District of Columbia came in a long-running lawsuit brought by the Democratic-controlled House Oversight Committee, which has said it needs Trump's financial records to address conflicts of interest by future presidents. And now the CDC is also recommending that women who are pregnant need to get vaccinated, especially with this huge surge that's being seen with regard to the coronavirus Delta and the Delta Plus variants. And those of you who are thinking of traveling to Aloha, Hawaii, well, Hawaii is now going to be reimposing COVID-19 restrictions, limiting social gatherings to avert straining the state's healthcare. Governor David Ige said on Tuesday as the rapid spread of Delta variant of the coronavirus pushed cases and hospitalizations in the United States to a 6-month high. Those were the news from across the United States, Manajan, and also in the Bay Area. We'll try to give you a brief Beach Mein Gaane Ka Kida.
We might come back and give you some headlines on what's happening around the world, but just stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is a Gaane Kida I have for you guys. A message for everybody to start working. मतलब दुनिया में रहना तो काम करो प्यारे. मैं नहीं कहता, actually पुराना फिल्म है बरजत. हमारा इंडियन सिनेमा का पुराना क्लासिक from the movie हाथी मेरे साथी बनजन.
1, 2, 3, up! दुनिया में रहना है तो काम कर प्यारे, हाथ जोड़ सबको सलाम कर प्यारे. दुनिया में रहना है तो काम कर प्यारे, हाथ जोड़ सबको सलाम कर प्यारे. वरना ये दुनिया जीने नहीं देगी, खाने नहीं देगी, पीने नहीं देगी. खेल कोई नया सुबह शाम कर प्यारे. दुनिया में रहना है तो काम कर प्यारे, हाथ जोड़ सबको सलाम कर प्यारे. वरना ये दुनिया जीने नहीं देगी, खाने नहीं देगी, पीने नहीं देगी. खेल कोई नया सुबह शाम कर प्यारे, दुनिया में रहना है तो काम कर प्यारे.
Banujan, Rajesh Khanna and Tanuja starring film. देखा नहीं तो definitely a matinee watch, Banujan. And yes, ये film में तो actually, you know what, the Rajesh Khanna is supposed to be a circus owner, rich person owning animals. But what they don't actually talk about the movie is how did he get the skills of being a circus man?
He's a rich man who owns all these animals.
Yeah, supposedly. And then he goes bankrupt or something like that.
Yeah,
But
because he's taking care of all these animals or something.
No,
right?
something happens. The villain comes in and takes on the land or whatever, and the property is lost because of a bhola bala guy. But what they don't show about is how does he become a tightrope walker? How does he become a gymnast? You know, the trapeze artist. All those things they don't show at all.
Altu baba, दुनिया में रहना है तो काम करो प्यारे. वो काम करता है ना बेचारा.
My goodness, that's true, Barjan. Yes, because of the dunya and your wants and your greed, you have to jump through hoops.
Yeah.
Of fire also sometimes, Bajan.
That's
Right now, Bajan, let's go jump and see what's happening jump into the news updates of what's happening around the world. These headlines coming right up for you guys, Bajan. Here you go.
You're listening to Radio D Hotties, and this is the morning edition of the World News right here on Good Morning Bay. Taliban fighters could isolate Afghan's capital in under 30 days and possibly take it over in 90 days, a U.S. defense official told Reuters on Wednesday, citing U.S. intelligence as the resurgent militants took control of an 8th provincial Afghan capital. The official, speaking on a condition of anonymity, said that the new assessment of how long Kabul could stand was a result of the rapid gains the Taliban had been making around the country as US-led foreign forces leave. Canada is slamming China over the detained citizens, and the issue is set to feature in the upcoming election. Earlier in the day, a Chinese court sentenced businessman Michael Spavor to 11 years in prison on charges of espionage. Foreign Minister Mark Gorno condemned what he called a completely unjustified verdict after a mock sham trial. Spavor and fellow Canadian Michael Kovrig were arrested in December 2018, shortly after Vancouver police picked up Huawei chief financial officer Meng Wanzhou on a U.S. arrest warrant. And they're saying that this is a retaliation, and they're just taking they're just taking advantage of the situation. And for those of you who don't know, the death sentence verdict has been reinstated against Michael Kovrig. Russian authorities announced a new criminal charge against Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny on Wednesday, the latest move in a crackdown ahead of September's parliamentary election that could add as much as 3 years to his prison term. Navalny, President Vladimir Putin's fiercest domestic critic, is serving a 2.5-year sentence for parole violations he calls trumped up. He was arrested after flying back from Germany, where he had recovered from nerve agent poisoning. 10 dead and dozens of people have been trapped after a landslide in India's Himalayan region, Badajan. A landslide in the mountainous Indian state of Himachal Pradesh has killed at least 10 people, injured 14, and left dozens trapped under after boulders tumbled onto a major highway on Wednesday, smashing and burying several vehicles, Indian officials said. Around 30 people are still trapped, including passengers inside a bus lying under the debris. Vivek Kumar Pandey, a spokesman for paramilitary Indo-Tibetan Border Police, has told Reuters. In other news from China, Banujan, apparently Alibaba's workers' a desperate plea for help sparked some #MeToo reckoning. Few paid much attention when she first turned up at the center of the Alibaba Group Holdings a packed cafeteria on Friday, a stack of leaflets in one hand and a megaphone in the other. Apparently, women are treated really badly at Alibaba, and she brought this whole case out, and now it's hitting the world international scene with regard to the poor treatment of women at Alibaba.
There goes one more person going to disappear in China.
Who? He's already disappeared, right, Jack?
No, the person who did this thing, the lady who actually has brought it up, yeah, she's going to disappear right now.
Exactly. Also, in India, Bandajan, India's coming upon its 75th anniversary, right? 75th
Yep.
of the Indian independence. In the meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met with Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh on Wednesday, who urged Prime Minister Modi to immediately initiate steps for the repeal of the contentious farm laws and an amendment to the relevant law for including farmers in free legal aid category. And of course, Maharashtra has now started opening up and loosening restrictions, especially for those who are fully vaccinated. Timings of shops and restaurants are also going to be extended. And there is updates about the Raj Kundra case. His jail time has been extended, and his mother-in-law and Shilpa Shetty are now being questioned as well as fellow co-conspirators in that particular scandal. And Siddharth Pitani, you remember this guy from the Sushant Singh Rajput case? Well, his bail plea has been rejected yet again, as the court didn't find any merit in his plea. More on all this you will find on MediaMahima.com, Rajan, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Radio D Hotties, and follow us there. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show.
And tab tak ke liye have a wonderful Wednesday. See you guys in the evening.
Maza aa raha hai na? Great music, Badajan, for the best in entertainment and the best in music and the hottest tracks ever. You can get it on Radio D Hotties. For more information, go to MediaMahima.com.